Do I have a motion to reconvene in open session?
So moved.
Please quietly find your seat. Is there a second?
Second.
The board is now in open session. Madam Clerk, would you please read the resolution certifying the closed session?
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the school board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the student matters?
In case numbers 2023-24/21RE, 2023-24/22RE, 2023-24/23RE, 2023-24/24RE, and 2023-24/25RE, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Take your second. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the first personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/61-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/62-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/63HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/64HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/65HR, superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/66HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/67HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/68HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye, the motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/69HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye, the motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/70HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye, the motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/71HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye, the motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/72HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be
Is
upheld.
there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye, the motion carries. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the May 14, 2024 School Board Business Meeting to order. Before we begin the meeting, I would like to thank everyone for attending and remind the audience that comments to this board may only be made at the podium during the public comment period. Comments from the audience are prohibited and are in violation of Section 18.2-415 of the Code of Virginia, Disorderly Conduct in Public Places, and School Board Policy 6141. I appreciate everyone's patience and understanding so that we can conduct the business meeting in an orderly fashion. We will now have an invocation by Mrs. Chatters, followed by the flag salute led by Mrs. Hutchins.
In lieu of an invocation today, I wanted to dedicate this to the class of 2024. And it's a poem called Don't Quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, just don't quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure comes about when he might have won had he just stuck it out. So don't give up, though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell just how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit.
Please join us at this time in the Pledge of Allegiance.
This evening's consent agenda includes agenda adoption, approval of the minutes, April 9, 2024 work session, April 9, 2024 business meeting, April 16, 2024 school board professional development. Memo number 55-24, recommended personnel actions. Memo 5624, FY 2024 acceptance of new grants. Memo 5724, acceptance of donations. Memo 5824, approval of federal entitlement programs. Memo 5924, Title I, Part C, education of migratory children, 2024-25 participating regional program member certification. Memo number 6024, 2024-25 school year seat time waivers. Memo number 6124, food and nutrition services, 2024-25 lunch prices. Memo number 6224, 2024-25 CEP site expansion. And memo number 6324, FY 2024 acceptance of learning acceleration grant, LAG 2.0. Are there any additional corrections or additions or corrections to the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, there are no additions or corrections to the consent agenda.
Are there any requests from a school board member to separate an item from the consent agenda for discussion or individual action? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Hepburn.
Aye. The motion carries. Dr. Dougherty, would you please announce our new administrators?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're going to do a little different. Sean's going to come up, read their names. I'm going to step out front, and they're always standing there by themselves. I'm going to shake their hands as they come up.
Board members, you have 4 announcements this evening. If I could ask Joel Ebers to come forward this time. As Joel comes forward, Joel was approved as a principal, Reams Road Elementary, effective July 1. Joel received his Master's of Education, Educational Leadership from American College of Education, as well as his Bachelor of Arts from Wilkes University. Joel currently serves as Associate Principal at Reams Road Elementary. If I could ask Gil Bonney to come forward this time. Gil Bonney Feliciano Lugo was approved as principal for Jacobs Road Elementary, effective July 1. She received her Master's of Education, Administration and Supervision from the University of Virginia and Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education from Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. She currently serves as the Associate Principal for Marguerite Christian Elementary School. If I could ask Jennifer Parsons to come forward at this time. Jennifer was approved as the principal for Crestwood Elementary, effective July 1. She received her Administration and Supervision endorsement from the University of Virginia, Master's of Education, Literacy Specialist, University of Buffalo, and Bachelor of Science, Childhood Education and Social Studies from Elmira College. She currently serves as the Assistant Principal, Crestwood Elementary School. If I could ask Stacy Stanford to come forward. Stacy's been approved as the principal for the Chesterfield Virtual School effective July 1. She received her postmaster's certificate, Administration and Supervision in K-12, Longwood University, as well as her Master's of Education and Curriculum Instruction from Averett University, as well as her Bachelor of Arts, Teacher Licensure Certification from VCU. She currently serves as the principal of the Virtual Learning Hanover County Online School.
Next, we have awards and recognitions. Mr. Smith.
If I could ask Sophie Jones to come forward, as well as Laura Height from CEF and RRMM Architects, please. Superintendent Merv Doherty was named the Region 1 Superintendent of the Year this February, and this recognition includes the opportunity to provide a scholarship to one student. This part is a surprise for Sophie. RRMM Architects helps to fund the scholarship with the $500, as well as $500 from Chesterfield Education Foundation. The recipient of this scholarship has attended Chesterfield County Public Schools since first grade at Bonaire Elementary, moving to Robius Middle, and then on to James River High School. Among her many activities are serving on the Superintendent's Student Advisory Group on Education and participating on the James River High Forensics Team. Congratulations to James River graduating senior, Sophie Jones.
Thank you very much. Jack Clark and Dan Wigan from RRMM Architects. Dr. Doherty, if you could stand right here. So we have the big check to show. Dan, come on over here. So we want to thank you for all your service and your recognition as the Region 1 Superintendent of the Year. That comes with an award from us of $500 that you have passed on to Sophie for her continuing education. Is that right? Yes, sir. Fantastic. So if everybody could kind of come to pull forward here. Can I get somebody to take a picture for us? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I just want to say congratulations, Sophie, and congratulations to all of you in the class of 2024. We were invited to share in the joy of giving you a scholarship, not a sponsorship, kind of a sponsorship. We're sponsoring your education to a tiny, tiny extent. So I don't have a big one, I have a little one, but it's big inside. And we're so proud of you. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
I want to say one, yeah, so Sophie, I am your Midlothian District Representative, School Board, and on behalf of the school board, I want to say we are so proud of you, and it's such an honor that Dr. Doherty picked you out of everyone he could have chosen, and he chose you. Well done, you. And I see you have a ring on your, do you want to tell us about that?
Sure, yeah.
I'm just so impressed.
Thank you. So I'm joined here tonight by some of the members of my wonderful speech team. As mentioned earlier, I've been competing with them for the past 3 years. They are absolutely amazing, and this is from when we took first at states last year, and we have another in the makes from our second take in first back in March. So I'm very proud to wear this to represent my team.
Congrats, we're proud of you. Thank you. All right.
School forensics team to come forward at this time. Both. Yeah.
Forensics and speech and debate.
Bird High and James River High. In Virginia High School League Forensics Competition, James River High won the Class 5 state championship. Jessica Sanchez coaches the team. The Bird High team finished third in Class 5, and Cosby High finished in second place in Class 6. These Chesterfield County Public School students were the top finishers in their categories in the Virginia High School League statewide competition. Original oratory, Bird High student Kylie Springfield won first in Class 5. Poetry interpretation, Bird High student Tatiana Hayes won first in Class 5. Extemporaneous speaking, James River High student Lily Wayner won first in Class 5. Humorous dramatic interpretation, James River High student Lily Brown won first in Class 5. Humorous duo interpretation, James River High students Kennedy Coffin and Emily Akuto won first in Class 5. Please join me in congratulating these students.
So on behalf of the entire school board, we want to congratulate these great orators here before us. We should be seeing them soon, somewhere doing their civic duty perhaps, maybe eventually replacing us on the dais, because with a voice that you have, you need to share it. And so I'm going to pass the mic around to people who speak, right? And tell us the best thing about that experience for you.
My favorite thing about doing speech is our incredible team. It's so supportive, and it's just like a second family. It's really great.
I'm going to kind of build off that. The friends I've made, competing, even people that I would go into rounds and then speak my heart out against and then be able to just talk to like we're friends in any other normal situation. It's just been the greatest thing I could have asked for.
The greatest thing I could ask for was the eye-opener that my category came with, me being more aware of my life and other people's lives, it made me more open-minded, and I think that's really the biggest thing that I could ask for.
The thing I love about debate is watching myself grow from a very shy person to somebody who can go in front of a crowd and get first place in poetry. So, and the friends that I made along the way and the people that have supported me, I really appreciate them.
My favorite thing about speech is the community our speech coach has made and how I've been able to find myself through it.
Going off of what she said, I really appreciate the community that you find in speech, especially in competitions. You might think that you never see those people again, but you can follow those people all the way up to states. And it's really nice to be able to have that sort of companionship in competitions.
Not to give a duplicate answer, but I would have to say it's the people. Initially, when I joined the speech team, I thought people joined because they liked speaking. We're all terrified. Everyone still has the nerves with public speaking. So I would have to say my team members and also our amazing coach, Miss Jessica Sanchez, our Mama Sanchez. We love you. We're so grateful for you. So I would have to say the community in the speech.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I really love our coach, Miss Sanchez. She has helped this team grow so much, and teams around us too, and it's really brought everyone together.
I would say community too, but to provide something else, speech has unlocked a power in me of my voice, and like for all of us, just having the ability to share our opinions and share a story is something really valuable, especially in this generation. So yeah.
I would say that speech has given me a profoundly deep appreciation of what my teachers are asked to do on a day in and day out basis. Yes, yes, you guys deserve that applause. Thank you. I am being asked to stand up and speak for 7 or 8 minutes and be judged on it, and you all are doing that for hours and also being judged on it from children who are objectively worse. So thank you, and I see what you guys are doing, and I love it.
Let's give them a hand. Congratulations.
If I could ask our James River High girls indoor track team to come forward at this time. The James River High girls indoor track team captured the VHSL Class 5 state title. This is James River's first ever indoor track title. The James River team scored a total of 61 points. In second place with 59 points was Byrd High School. Congratulations to these James River High School student athletes for their success. Lily Verbeek, who won the VHSL first place in the long jump with a leap of 19 feet and 8 inches, and then a few weeks later placed first nationally with a long jump of 20 feet and 3 inches. In addition to Lily, Tia Neblett, Karis Wickstead, Lacey Smith, Macy Pierce, Brielle Carjane, Mackenzie Hadfield, and Cornell Core is the head coach of the James River Indoor Track. Assistant coaches are Jeff Raskin, Christopher Calfee, Chavis Foshman, and Nikki Rhodes, and the trainer is Patrick Montre. Please join me in congratulating these student athletes.
So congratulations on the behalf of the school board. We are, I can't get over 20 feet. So show me, like, is that like you standing here and is it just a boing or? Right, to the part, okay, I'm gonna give you this. Maybe I should make you jump over, I don't know. This is amazing. If you guys could, I think there's really fun things in here. Do you all wanna say your name and what you did, your sport, clearly, your event, yes, there you go.
I'm Lily Verbeek, and I did the 55 hurdles, the long jump, triple jump, and the 4x1. 4x2. I'm Kara Swickstead, and I did the pole vault.
I'm Mackenzie Hadfield. I did high jump, long jump, triple jump, 4x4, 4x2, and 55 hurdles.
I'm Tia Nevlet, and I did shot put. I'm Brielle Carjane. I ran the 1,000 meter and the 4x4.
Join me in congratulating them. Well done. Oh, okay. I have a prize for you. It's very exciting. Congratulations. Do you want to say your name and or are we trying to avoid that? Name and your event.
My name is Macy Pierce, and I do the 200, 100, 400, and at indoor I did the 4x2.
Good job. Thank you so much, ladies. Well done. Congratulations. And not everybody's a senior, too. I was surprised. You're a junior, and we're coming back. That's what I'm hearing. Well done. Thanks, ladies. Take care. Good job.
If I could ask Stacy Link and Karen DeBeal to come forward at this time. During National Nurses Week, which was May 6th through 12th, Chesterfield County Public School leaders swooped into Mosley Elementary to surprise Stacy Link with the news that she is the CCPS Nurse of the Year. Having worked in nursing for 25 years, with 9 of those years as a school nurse, Stacy says, quote, "My philosophy of school nursing practice is simple, to treat each person I encounter, whether it be a student, parent, visitor, or staff member, as I would want my own family to be treated," end quote. Please join me in congratulating Stacy Link.
So this is for you. So on behalf of the school board, congratulations. I had the honor of presenting you the award, I think it was a week or so ago, and I had taken the pictures that we took that day, I posted them on social media, and I had parents in the community who reached out to me who just had a whole bunch of great things to say about you. And the thing, though, that spoke volumes was when I met you, before I met you, I met briefly with Dr. Dubiel, and she said, "Yes, I submitted her name so many times." So it just speaks volumes that the community, after hearing about this recognition, rallied around you and are just so appreciative of what you do for our kids and for our staff on a daily basis. So this is an award that you very, very well deserve. So congratulations. Absolutely. So is there anything you'd like to say?
I just want to say thank you to everybody for celebrating all Chesterfield County school nurses. We do work tirelessly and love our school communities, the students we adore, and we have some great administration beside us that help us and really encourage us to be the best that we can be. Thank you.
I have nominated her for 7 years. Yes, I have, since year one of meeting her, back when I was at Winter Park. And I will say every year I added more and more and more. And just enduring and going through COVID with a school nurse as a school administrator, I mean, we already had a bond, but you really develop a bond during that time. And just, again, our school does not run without her. And she means so much to our students and our community, and we're so thankful. Thank you for this recognition for her.
If I could ask our beginning teachers of the year to come forward, that's Amanda, Edward, Morgan, and Caroline, please. Each year, Chesterfield County Public Schools recognizes 4 beginning teachers as the best among their peers. The Beginning Teacher of the Year Awards recognize new educators who excel in instructional planning and delivery and the creation of a learning environment and professionalism. This year, 42 of the 419 new teachers working in Chesterfield schools were nominated. Tonight, we're pleased to announce this year's Beginning Teachers of the Year. The Elementary School Beginning Teacher of the Year Award goes to Amanda Matajunas, who teaches 5th grade at Winter Park Elementary. The Middle School Beginning Teacher of the Year is Edward Allen. Edward teaches 6th grade social studies at Manchester Middle. And the High School Beginning Teacher of the Year Award goes to Morgan Gilbert. Morgan teaches world history and Virginia and U.S. history at Midlothian High School. And the overall CCPS Beginning Teacher of the Year is Caroline Grider. Caroline teaches music at Bellwood Elementary.
Congratulations on behalf of the school board. We are so proud of you and so lucky to have you at CCPS. You could have gone to any district and you picked CCPS. So thank you. Obviously, this year was a great year and you stuck it out and you're going to continue next year. So what I'd like to know is, what is your favorite memory of this last year, funny moment of your first year of teaching?
Good evening, everyone. My favorite moment is we were 20 weeks into the school year, and I had a student that was eating Takis in my class, and another young student asked, could she have some of his Takis? And the kid, deadpan, he looked at her and he says, "I don't even know you." And it was amazing, 20 weeks into the school year, he literally did not know this classmate.
I would say my favorite moment is one of my students, they didn't know what a certain term meant, and they ended up calling me that. And my whole class, I probably shouldn't say that, what the term was, but they all cracked up and they were all laughing at me. And I'm just at the front trying to hold it together, trying to be like the one in charge as I'm trying not to die laughing in front of my students. And I ended up talking to them and I'm like, all right, we need to remember what we're supposed to be saying in class. Definitely not this, but what we're supposed to be. So that was one of my favorite moments.
I actually went to the high school that I am currently teaching at, so it's been really cool to get to know some of my former teachers as coworkers. It's really, really special. I coach basketball and softball, and I'm also working with the coaches that were my coaches when I was there, and like building that relationship on a new level and then furthering other kids' lives is like so special. I feel so lucky.
I feel like every week every day there's a new funny moment that just happens. But one of my favorite is we do a lot of singing and music. I love to sing, and the kids are learning to love it as well. But when I asked them to sing something, one student said, "Miss Grider, I got a haircut this year, so I can't sing." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, we're going to try, because your hair likes to sing too." But every week he has something new to say about why I can't sing. But that's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again, and look forward to finding out what your new moments are next year. So, thank you. You go that way.
If I could ask Dr. Rachel Feinstein to come forward, as well as our representatives from Bon Secours. Local businesses have the power to shape community attitudes about public education, and the Business Honor Roll of the Virginia School Board Association is one way for a local school division to recognize businesses for their support. During its March 2024 meeting, the Chesterfield County School Board nominated 2 businesses to the Virginia School Boards Association's Business Honor Roll, and representatives of these businesses are here tonight to accept certificates and resolutions. The Chesterfield County School Board recognizes and thanks these business partners. From Feinstein 360 Orthodontics, Dr. Rachel Feinstein has made a difference in elementary, middle, and high schools through financial support, by providing learning opportunities, and by supporting employee health. Bon Secours is a steadfast partner for Chesterfield County Public Schools. A core pillar of Bon Secours is commitment to the community and the organizations involved with elementary, middle, and high schools for career awareness, career exploration, and career preparedness.
Madam Chair, I'll read the resolutions now.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
2024 Virginia School Board Association Business Honor Roll. Whereas public schools and local businesses are an integral part of this community, and whereas many local businesses play a crucial role in supporting our schools, and whereas the economic health of our community, state, and nation depends on a strong public school system, and whereas collaboration between local public schools and local businesses strengthens schools and the business community alike by providing a well-trained and highly educated workforce, and whereas an excellent public school system is vital to the quality of life in this community and fundamental to preserving a strong democratic society now and in the future. Now therefore be it resolved that the Chesterfield County School Board names Feinstein 360 Orthodontics and Bon Secours the 2024 Virginia School Board Association Business Honor Roll, showing appreciation for the ongoing support of this community's public schools. Your work has aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for every child who attends them.
One of the things that I have come to really enjoy about Chesterfield County Public Schools is a vision that we have to partner with our local community businesses, because we want our children to be able to understand that their future is right there for them, whatever their direction is, whatever path that they choose. And companies, businesses, entrepreneurs that come into Chesterfield County Public Schools and show any interest at all, it just warms our hearts as a school board and as a school division, because we know that partnering together will better the future for our kids. So on behalf of the school board, thank you so much for your partnership with Chesterfield County Public Schools. And we'd love to hear more about why or what it is for you that this is a meaningful relationship.
Just a thank you, because not only is it building our community, it's building our nurses, our patient representatives, our physical therapists. By partnering with you, the future is bright for your nurses with Bon Secours, but in healthcare. And we look forward, and we're actively recruiting, so feel free to talk to me after.
I'll just say on behalf of Bon Secours, we have really been so grateful for this partnership and have a tremendous amount of respect for the school administration and for being such wonderful partners, and we look forward to continuing this in the future.
And I'm grateful to be here tonight. This is a very meaningful recognition for us. We are relative newcomers in the history of Chesterfield County, which some of the people behind me may remember. So in 2006, we opened our 4th hospital at St. Francis Medical Center, now led by Dr. Joe Wilkins, who is a huge supporter of our partnership. And to the parents and children in the audience, I can only say that under the direction of Chad Macklin and his team, the students who are graduating from Meadowbrook High School have careers ahead of them. They will work every day of their lives if they wish to and grow in those careers. Thank you.
Dr. Fry will present the recognition of outstanding driver performance.
Good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, Dr. Daugherty, and Mr. Roberts. It's my pleasure this evening to present to you our Drivers of the Month. There are many drivers who could be recognized this month, but each transportation area manager had to make the tough decision of selecting a single bus driver who exemplified excellence and dedication to represent their area. We'd like to recognize and honor the following drivers. Mike Barrett, Area 1, Bus 803, 1 year of service. Mike says that he retired and became a bus driver to give back to the community. Now his favorite part of the job would probably be the hugs he gets from the little elementary kids who get on his bus. Joe Carpenter, Area 2, Bus 499, 21 years of service. Joe retired on May 6th and is unable to join us this evening, but accepting the award is his manager, Candace Harris. Joe says he loved driving the kids and the connections he has made. Derek Toller, Area 3, Bus 650, 7 months of service. Derek is unable to join us, but area manager Jacqueline Roach is here to accept the award. Derek says that as a coach and a bus driver, working with the youth of tomorrow is just something he enjoys doing, and it keeps him young. Barbara Haruska, Area 4, Bus 909, 31 years of service. Barbara retired on May 6th and is unable to join us, but area manager Jennifer Davis is here to accept her award. Barbara says the reason she loves driving a bus is the children and seeing them grow up over the years. She also says kids keep her young. Qualisha Tilley, Area 5, Bus 813, 5 years of service. Qualisha says she drives with love. It brings her joy helping kids to get where they need to go and making their lives a little bit easier that day. Thank you.
So of course I have another poem for my bus drivers. You are the peace that start their day. We wave at you as our kids drive away. Thank you for driving with love and care. We take comfort in knowing whether rain or shine, you will be there. Thank you so much for what you've done. And since we've heard some of you, I'm going to go to the two that are here and tell me one of your favorite things about driving the bus.
One of my favorite things about driving the bus is compassion and love and kindness. And anybody that know me, I'm like this all the time. Always laughing, always making sure the kids smile. So I never have a bad day for myself because I always want to see the kids smile.
Well, I like to sweep up Takis. Many of them. Middle schoolers, absolutely. No, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. I like the little kids are the best. So the middle schoolers, they're a little wide open. So and the high schoolers are really quiet. I love them the best. Actually, they're the easiest to get along with. So it's good. Thank you.
One more time for our bus drivers.
Mr. Dunbrack will present the recognition of outstanding food service employees.
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Doherty, Mr. Roberts, thank you as always for the opportunity to recognize some of our outstanding food nutrition services team members. As I've commented before, food services is very much an environment of the unknown. Priorities often change suddenly for any number of reasons. For this reason and countless others, we are incredibly fortunate to have leaders in our kitchens that are prepared to face these challenges every day. One of our greatest obstacles as a department historically has been one of staff retention. While we are incredibly fortunate to have team members that have been with us for 40, 50 years, we also see a fair amount of turnover each year. This turnover presents its own set of challenges, particularly when it comes to training and consistency, as a goal of our department is to offer the same eating experience throughout all schools every day. I'm pleased to say that this is the first year in my 5 here that we will begin and end the school year with the same management team in place. The commitment that these leaders have made to feeding our students is one of the many reasons that we are so incredibly fortunate here in Chesterfield County. Our nominees this evening are, and Ms. Payton is not here with us this evening, but Nettie Payton. Ms. Payton is a food service associate at Crestwood Elementary School, and she's been employed with the county for 7 years, and she says, I enjoy serving the kids and getting to know them. I enjoy coming to work and the fellowship I have with my teammates. Next, we have Evelyn Hanks. Ms. Hanks is a food service associate at Swift Creek Elementary School. She's been with Chesterfield for 2 years, and she says, the best part of my job is being efficient in everything that I do. I love serving the children and giving them some smiles. Next, we have Susan Armstrong. Ms. Armstrong is a food service associate at Hopkins Elementary School. She's been with the county for 4 years, and she says, to put it short and sweet, I like to make a difference. There is not a day that goes by that I don't put a smile on a child's face and say a kind word to a child. All I know is that to make a difference in a child's life makes me happy. Next, we have Mary Stocks. Ms. Stocks is a food service associate at Marguerite Christian Elementary School. And she's been with the county for 16 years. She says, the best part of my job is being able to work with a diverse group of people doing a variety of tasks in a fast-paced environment. I love my job because I help children learn about nutrition and encourage them to make their own food choices, which inspires self-confidence and creates a positive and pleasant environment for all students. And lastly, we have Jennifer Jenkins. Ms. Jenkins is our assistant manager at Crenshaw Elementary School, and she's been with the county for 2 years. She says, life is simply too short to be bored or miserable for a large portion of the time you spend awake. You deserve to have a job that fulfills you, that taps into your passion, that brings you joy. I love children, and I love that I get to see and feed them every day. Knowing the kids have a full stomach is why I love what I do.
Congratulations, and on behalf of the school, we thank you for what you do for our students, for feeding their bellies so that they can learn and they're not hungry in the classroom, which, of course, makes the class teachers go a little crazy. So thank you for what you do. We really, really appreciate it, and to be recognized by your administration is a great honor. So thank you very much. And if you want to share a little bit about what makes you happy about your job and being there to feed the children.
I really love it when the children give me different stories about their favorite food. And I especially love it when I ask them, don't you want a vegetable? And their answer is, no, I think I'm allergic.
I guess my favorite thing is when a child will put the arm around me and say, thanks for giving us something to eat today. We appreciate it.
I love the children, and I love putting a smile on their faces. Sometimes they can be so sad when they come in to pick up their food, and I want to encourage them and continue to encourage them.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything you do.
Next, we have public comment. For this meeting, citizens were given the option of submitting their comments. Comments submitted online via the online form were sent to the board prior to the start of tonight's meeting and will be included in full as an addendum to the meeting minutes. Madam Clerk, would you please announce this evening's in-person speakers?
Madam Chair, we have 17 speakers this evening. They are Justin Walker, Cameron Francis, Lawrence Bacon, Imani Scott, Aaliyah Tillman, Michael Fedorko, Mahaya Abel, Sadie Brown, Anaya Addison, Brandy Roman, Carter Barnes, Clay Thompson, Camille Curry, Moses Palacios Berberca, Sonia Smith, Melania Wood, and Robert Everett. Each speaker will have 4 minutes to address the board. There's a timer set up on top of the podium that will turn green when you begin speaking, yellow when you have 30 seconds remaining, and red when your time has expired. As a reminder, no personal belongings other than a cell phone and speaker notes are allowed at the podium. Please have your materials organized in a manner that as you arrive at the podium, you are prepared to start speaking. Please note that comments equivalent to campaigning for any office are a violation of School Board Policy 1110 and are prohibited. May we have Justin Walker?
Good evening, y'all. Justin Walker. I'm the chairman of the Environmental Stewardship Advisory Committee. Some of y'all may remember that. Wanted to share with you some information. At our last meeting, we were discussing the topic of the legislature's effort to include climate change curriculum in our state's education curriculum. We were a little frustrated by the fact that that effort stalled out, but we're a little hopeful that maybe with the weight of the public comment period that is happening now, that Virginia DOE may in fact include that curriculum as we move forward. The committee would like to ask the board to weigh in on the topic, and I've submitted a letter to Elke to share with everyone from our committee stating this request, but I'll just read that to you here briefly. Environmental Stewardship Committee is compelled by the May 31st Virginia DOE deadline for public comment on the 2018 science standards to address the board regarding the addition of the language to address climate change. As a presentation, after our presentation to the committee on written curriculum regarding regarding climate change, we were comforted. I'm sorry, y'all, I can't speak. I got a haircut earlier this week, and it's not working for me. The National Research Council's framework for K-12 science education is at the core of what is being taught locally. However, we still feel that the state's 2018 standards of learning needs to be revised. We reiterate our encouragement to the Chesterfield County School Board to formally advocate to Virginia DOE to update these standards and explicitly include words and topics regarding climate change, and to reference the more extensive curriculum, framework, and training that is available for our teachers online. Policymakers should also consider integrating climate change education elsewhere in the state education standards. It's essential that Virginia public school standards reflect the latest scientific consensus on climate change so that today's students can flourish in the world that they will inhabit tomorrow. And here is the real kicker. Our students need classroom instruction and authentic field experiences that will equip them with the knowledge and the appreciation of the world that they will be inheriting, and to prepare them for the careers in the absolutely booming energy, environmental, and technology sectors. Those jobs are going to be there waiting for them when they graduate if they are prepared for them. And we are asking for the state of Virginia and for Chesterfield County to support that preparation by including climate change curriculum in our standards of learning. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Madam Clerk, the next group of speakers are students from Thomas Dale. And before you start to speak, I just want to say thank you for coming out. I know it's an assignment, but I want you to smile. I want you to enjoy it. You're among friends here. And if you have trouble speaking, just shake your hair and do this. You're okay. But I just want you to know that we really appreciate you coming out and look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
May we have Cameron Francis?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Cameron Francis, and I am a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I stand before you this evening as a member of a policy affinity group that has conducted research on Policy 4190, student wellness. This policy is supported by the school and is focused on the nutritional eating habits and emotional well-being for students. What needs to be addressed on this policy is the service students receive in the environment we are surrounded in for 6+ hours. My colleague and I created a survey about these needs that require to be changed, and the outlook was astonishing. About 70% of students who took our survey claimed that we need a dramatic change. For our open responses, we asked, what do you want us to know or things that need to be changed in our school? In this one student's response, they opened up and spoke upon the environment we students encounter. They said, admin spends most time implementing new rules and regulations to attempt to stop and control the students. This student claims how they have seen more negative than positive in the past 4 years attending the school. Now, I display my school lunch situation. We have over 53 comments stating they would rather eat nothing than the food we are given and how we are scheduled on the same food every week. 63 out of 70 students we surveyed agreed that we should have an open campus lunch. We're asking to have access to the courtyards of our school when eating. This will be beneficial in helping our already crowded cafeteria and clearing the minds of students when put in a quieter area. With all the other comments on our lunches and student wellness, mental health is a huge part of it. We have conducted research on the effects of unhealthy school lunches that can also mentally affect students if not eating nutritious meals. With the foods we put in our body, our minds are fueled. We followed up and asked students who took our survey that if we made a mental health club, would they join? 67% said yes. Now, we understand that not everyone wants to open up on their issues and do not want to be helped, and that is okay. But for the people who do want help or need help do not have access to it, and that needs to be revised. Students should have an easy way to access help if needed from teachers and faculty. Having a teacher or administrator to go help with an issue can be really helpful to students to find a solution. The reason we chose this policy is to bring attention to the action and changes that need to be addressed. Enforce these rules to keep our students safe, happy, and satisfied. Thank you all for your time and attention to policy number 4190, and we look forward to hearing back from you soon on any updates or implementations. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. May we have Lawrence Bacon?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Deshaun Toombs. I'm here for Lawrence Bacon, and we are a policy affinity group. And we stand before you today to talk about policy number 4111, student health service and requirements. Our concerns with this policy are under Section B, which is contagious or infectious viruses. This policy states, students shall be excluded from school when suffering from contagious or infectious diseases. But where is that assurance? Students often stay out of school while sick, but why? When suffering from the flu, which is in fact a contagious virus, students here in Chesterfield force themselves to attend school while being sick, risking passing on the contagious virus. Students do this to prevent themselves from falling back on classes or getting seat time. Where is the support from the board for these students who are sick? If students shall be excluded from school when sick, who is that enforcer to make students students are properly excluded? My partner and I took a survey, and the question was, is the CCPS school board doing everything in its power to make sure student wellness is adequate? 71% responded with no. We understand that this is a major topic to address the board with, so we are suggesting a cleaner environment for your students to kick off the process of revising this policy. A main concern of Chesterfield County Public Schools is to assure the health and well-being of all students. In the survey we took, another question is, should students be sent home if deemed sick? 92%
92% of the students said yes. Studies even proved, and I quote, "An important way to reduce the spread of the flu is to keep sick people away from those who are not sick. We understand that you can get sick from anywhere, but we suggest that you make the schools more adequate for students. We suggest that you implement a time for students to make up work that isn't seat time, but something that will not hold students back from going to the next grade or graduating because of natural causes. We also understand that this is a big ask, but we just need the reassurance that we won't be penalized for being ill. Thank you for your time and attention to the issue. I look forward from hearing back to you. Thank you."
And we have Imani Scott.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Imani Scott, and I'm a resident and student within the Bermuda District. And I've been conducting research about policy number 4180, School Guidance and Counseling Program. While going over policy number 4180, I noticed that improvements needs to be made within it. It is important to note that this also ties into policy 4185, College and Career Readiness. Policy 4180 talks more about mental health for students rather than academics, which is okay, but counselors can help more with the organization of students' academics. Furthermore, students want more time with their counselor to discuss the plan after high school since we seek them more about classes. Students want the communication with their counselors to strengthen, and they want more time with them, specifically to discuss a post-secondary plan after high school and receive personalized resources according to what they plan to do. The miscommunication about the early release stipulations was tough to navigate as this information was shared by word of mouth and the messaging was inconsistent from student to student. I conducted a survey asking students within CCPS to share their own experiences with the school guidance and counseling program. 85.5% of students expressed that they would like more personalized resources pertaining to their future college major. When I asked the question, do you want more one-on-one time with your school counselor to discuss the plan after high school, 47.8% of students said yes. I also provided an open-ended response question. A student responded saying, "I wish counselors didn't have so many students to help because it takes away time from each person. I feel like I only get to spend like 5 minutes with my counselor." That struck me and led me to interview counselors. Excuse me. They all expressed that they have a heavy workload and that they would love to make more time for their students, but they need help, and they would love more counselors in order to disperse the workload. Students want more from their counselors, but they know that to achieve this, counselors need help first. And with these new early release restrictions, not every up-and-coming senior has a job nor a medical issue that permits them to leave early. This results in more classes counselors have to deal with, which ultimately takes more time away from students. This can be resolved with more counselors being hired. Counselors need your help. Students need your help. Thank you for your time and attention to policy number 4180. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on any updates or implementations you may have. Again, thank you.
And we have Aaliyah Tillman.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Aaliyah Tillman, and I am a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I stand before you this evening as a member of a policy affinity group that has conducted research on policy 4041, transfers by student victims of crime, related to policy 5060, sexual harassment. Starting with policy 5060, the policy addresses the consequences of sexual harassment against employees doing the act to other employees and to other students. Nowhere in the policy does it address the issue of sexual harassment between students. Sexual harassment happens from our screens to right in front of us in real time.
My partner and I conducted a survey where the question, do you know anyone who has been a victim of sexual violence in your district? 63% of students answered yes. Sexual harassment between students can happen anywhere at any time. With respect to social media cases like Amanda Todd, who was sexually blackmailed by the perpetrator and other students at her school, and the sickening epidemic that many students know well, the spreading of sexually explicit pictures of a student by other students shows how easy it is for things like this to happen with little to no consequences. Sexual harassment between students can happen without anyone's knowledge, which is very important that this policy addresses the issue. Regarding the policy 4041, transfers by student victims of crime, the policy does mention sexual violence, but it does not address the consequences of the perpetrator to the victim and resources the victim can have access to. Transferring schools is not going to erase the trauma the victim has to deal with. As a student who has been in public school all my life, I have seen it and I know peers who have experienced it. The policy should address and acknowledge the victims of sexual harassment and the consequences for the perpetrator. Thank you for your time and attention to policy number 4041 and 5060. We look forward from hearing back from you soon with any updates and implementations. Thank you.
Michael Fedorko.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the school board. My name is Michael Fedorko, and I'm a resident and student of the Bermuda District. I stand before you this evening as a representative of a policy affinity group which has conducted research on the teaching of sensitive and controversial topics. Many students of our school district have unfortunately faced traumatic experiences which have left them with significant emotional pain. It can be draining to carry the burden of their past wherever they go. Now, courses such as sex ed, history, even English classes include media which have explicit imagery with things like violence, sex, or racial matters within them. Now, despite the fact that these forms of media are approved as a part of the curriculum, they can cause students to relive these traumatic experiences. Policy 3031 regards the teaching of sensitive or controversial topics. It exists to help protect students which have been victims of these traumatic events. Within, it has an opt-out feature. It's provided to parents, and it ensures permission that students can be opted out of different segments of material presented after receiving approval. Now, despite the fact that this feature is not currently commonly used, we recognize that there is a growing movement in the censorship and banning of books, mentioning any subject deemed to them as sensitive or controversial. The importance of this policy is not to be understated. Now, our policy affinity group, which is not to remove the opt-out feature entirely, but rather to have it changed in order to prevent it from being weaponized in the future. In gathering information for this speech, we interviewed several teachers in our school, as well as other members of staff. We interviewed staff members involved in subjects listed above, and those interviewed had minor differences in opinion on the policy. However, all saw the importance of keeping students safe and also saw the the harmful side to this policy. What we found was that the majority of parents did not have the time to talk to teachers about their students' needs as they were working in regards to things that may be sensitive to them. We were also told that if a teacher were to be approached by a student who would tell them about something being sensitive or controversial to them, the teacher would already know of an alternative assignment for the student to complete and would immediately help that student out and make sure that they remained in a safe and comfortable environment. That's an absolutely abundantly clear fact.
Now, as members of the school board, you're responsible for ensuring the students of our district remain safe and comfortable without compromising the quality of education presented to them. While this policy is a good step in the right direction in ensuring the safety of students, it unfortunately, we believe, comes at the cost of the quality of education for students. Now, thank you for your time and attention to policy number 3031. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on any updates or implementations you may have. And once again, thank you.
Michaela Abel.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Michaela Abel, and I'm a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I come before you this evening to address my concerns and research conducted by my policy affinity group on the teaching of controversial or sensitive topics, policy number 3031. Since we cannot speak for our fellow peers, we ask them the questions: what are your thoughts on being taught controversial or sensitive topics? And do you think that in-class discussions and topics should be outlined within the syllabus that you receive at the beginning of the year? Why or why not? Many students said that topics containing a sensitive nature should be talked about and should be included into the syllabus so that students and parents are aware of what may take place conversation-wise. We have included some student responses we received into this elocution in there as follows. Quote, yes, just because in the sense of teenagers, many of them may not be comfortable or even mature enough to withstand certain conversations. So as preventative measures, I think it should be outlined. Another respondent stated, quote, this should be in the syllabus because people have different religions and beliefs that can exclude them from the course. The final response we included shared, quote, yes, just because certain serious topics like sexual topics can be triggering for some people who have been sexually abused. Not only did we reach out to students, we also reached out to teachers and parents but received little to nothing. Why are teachers and parents scared of addressing controversial and sensitive topics? We attempted many different ways of getting parent responses, including putting the survey on the Facebook group called Chester Issues. Also, we attempted to interview parents in the form of verbal questionnaire, and every parent we asked declined the opportunity to give their input on what their child is learning. After attempting to connect with the opinions and beliefs of parents, we have found that a lot of parents within the Bermuda District seem to not care about their child's learning environment. Having watched past school board meeting videos, we have noticed that many parents come in here demanding a change from instructional staff and members of the school board like yourselves, but they won't even respond to a survey being conducted by their child's peers. On the other hand, teachers have also been adamant on not taking our teacher survey. I have gained some further insight from a teacher of mine by the name of Sonia Smith. She shared that, quote, classroom environments and activities have become politicized over the years. Public schools do not choose the students they receive. They are simply instilling knowledge into what they assume a child is already learning at home. Parents should be laying the foundation for these sensitive conversations that may come up when they are in the classroom. If they do not agree, then opting out is an option. But this option is not widely advertised. From the couple of teacher survey responses my partner and I received, we have come to the conclusion that many teachers are not supplying parents and students with disclaimers on what conversations may transpire within the classroom. We have collected and supplied each of you with the syllabuses from many teachers, and almost all of them do not contain a clear understanding as to what we talked about in class. It is understandable that teachers are working with the curriculum they're given and must enforce that until it is changed, but how can they when the curriculum is deemed controversial? Having said this, I leave you with a question to ponder with. What is the point of a policy that is only instilling fear and intimidation onto your employees? After calculated research and revisions, my affinity partner and I have come up with some suggested changes. Many parents are unaware of the opt-out policies provided. It should be mandatory that teachers include an opt-out form as well as a structured portion of the syllabus based on topics and conversations that may arise within their curriculum. This will provide parents with a deeper level of comprehension for their child's educational setting, as well as taking away any scrutiny schools may receive for topics. Thank you for your time and attention on this most important matter. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on our recommendations regarding policy number 3031. Thank you.
Sadie Burrow.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Sadie Burrow, and I'm a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I come before you this evening to address concerns and research conducted by my Policy Affinity Group on policy number 3040, grading students' work. Our concern has to do with the wording used in the policy. As currently stated, I quote, "Grades and other performance feedback should be updated in the electronic gradebook within 2 weeks of being graded." The word "should," used in this guideline of teachers submitting grades, creates an unstable timeline that has been proven to be problematic for students and parents. This is because many students' grades are updated in the electronic gradebook far too late into the marking period and not within the recommended 2 weeks. We conducted a survey at Thomasdale High School that received roughly 123 responses on this subject, and many students' responses including details of them, as well as their parents being frustrated and confused as to why their grades are not being updated in a timely manner. This delay is preventing students from knowing their true grades at a reasonable time. A result of this grading pattern commonly leads to students down a path of no motivation to do their work, as they feel their grades may not be put in anytime soon. This may result in many teachers' frustrations because their students are not completing their work. As a solution, we propose the wording be changed to must instead of should and the time allotment adjusted. If enforced, this may create more grade stability and allow students to feel more comfortable knowing that their grades will be updated timely and in a swift manner. Consequently, students and teachers can start seeing positive academic benefits rather than negative. And thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing back from you soon with any updates on how our suggestions can potentially be implemented. Thank you.
Anaya Addison.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Anaya Addison, and I am a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I come before you this evening to address concerns and research we conducted with my Policy Affinity Group on policy number 4150, physical restraint and seclusion of students. The policy states that self-defense is permitted in the case of an attack, though the consequences are still evident. Any physical contact will most likely result in suspension or, in more serious cases, expulsion. What is not mentioned is the act of an adult putting their hands on a student when it is not necessary. This has become an issue that we would like to address. My affinity partner and I surveyed 170 students who are also residents of the Bermuda District that attend high school. Questions that we asked were as follows. Have you ever witnessed any act of physical harm being done to a student by a staff or faculty member, and or have you ever experienced any form of physical harm from a student or a faculty member? Our results have shown that your original policy is in fact not being enforced like it should be. Students that responded to the survey had various answers and ranged from, I have seen at least 8 to 11 fights break out into violence against faculty members, to, I was pushed and escorted out by a teacher, admin, and security for simply trying to reclaim my bag I had left in school, which the teachers and staff didn't let me have access to them. This policy has not prevented any consequences for physical contact in schools within the Bermuda District. It actually contradicts the policy that you have in place. This year alone, students have been in numerous fights that have resulted in many faculty members being involved unwillingly. This goes to show that not only are students' safety being jeopardized, but faculty members as well. In order to avert this problem, my affinity partner and I have come up with a practical solution that can be implemented in order to prevent student and faculty contact. We believe that schools should hire more security due to the lack of assistance during incidents that happen to occur within a short span of time. Your instructional staff and students are being injured on school grounds, and we would like more awareness to be brought to this issue. Thank you for your time and consideration on this most important matter. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on recommendations regarding policy 4150. Thank you.
Brandy Roman.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Brandy Roman, and I am a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I come before you this evening to address concerns and research conducted by my Policy Affinity Group on policy number 4009, known as dress code. Over the last 2 months, we have been polling students at schools all over the county about their opinion of the dress code. The current dress code policy is not being enforced evenly, leading to discrimination against certain body types and genders. This is of a survey of 350 CCPS students, where 88% believe that the dress code is unfairly enforced. To address this issue, the policy should be revised to explicitly state that there will be no discrimination based on body type or gender. In contemporary educational settings, the enforcement of dress code policies often stirs significant debate regarding fairness and equity. Specifically, Policy 4009 has garnered attention for its inconsistent application, which raises concerns about discrimination against certain body types and genders. The student survey we mentioned earlier highlighted that a substantial 88% perceive this policy as being enforced in an equitable manner. Numbers this high not only reflect a disconnect between the intent of the dress code and its real-world implementation, but also suggest an underlying bias that may inadvertently affect students' academic experience and self-esteem. Consequently, it becomes imperative to advocate for a revision of Policy 4009, ensuring it includes clear directives against discrimination based on body type or gender, thus promoting an inclusive and respectful school environment. Building on the concerns highlighted by the student survey, it is crucial to consider empirical evidence and scholarly perspectives that further support the need for revision in Policy 4009. Research conducted by experts and findings published in journals like Ophelia illustrate how inconsistencies in dress codes enforcement can perpetuate gender and racial biases. These studies provide a broader context to the students' grievances by showing that discriminatory enforcement is not only a localized issue, but part of a widespread systemic problem within educational institutions. This objective enforcement inherently disadvantages students of certain body types and genders, thereby impacting their educational experience. Therefore, aligning Policy 4009 with explicit anti-discriminatory measures is not only about fairness, but also about upholding the integrity of educational equity. In summary, the enforcement of Dress Code Policy 4009 within educational environments has undeniably revealed issues of fairness and equity that demand urgent attention. The overwhelming perception among students that this policy is applied inequitably underscores a significant failure in its implementation, a failure that not only undermines the policy's original intentions, but also potentially harms students' self-perception and academic engagement. As we advocate for revisions to ensure clear, non-discriminatory guidelines, it is essential to consider how such changes will foster an atmosphere of respect and inclusivity. Looking ahead, further research should investigate the long-term impacts of these amendments on students' well-being and equity in educational settings. It is through such dedicated inquiry and reformative action that schools can genuinely uphold the principles of fairness and respect they are meant to teach. Thank you for your time and attention on this most important matter. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on our recommendations regarding Policy 4009. Thank you.
Carter Barnes.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Carter Barnes. I'm a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I'm a part of an affinity group researching policy number 4020, attendance. Our concerns are the following. Currently, if you miss 10 block classes or 20 classes that are scheduled daily, you will receive seat time in the CCPS district. While this is reasonable, we have concerns regarding how we complete the numerous hours of seat time that many students obtain. The state policy regarding attendance states chronic absenteeism correlates with low academic achievement. We have interviewed over 150 students that have seat time, and majority of the students have a 3.5 GPA or higher. 98 of those students are in all honors or AP classes. Therefore, it does not always correlate with accountable students. Having to owe the school numerous hours for classes you have a B+ or A average in can be a waste of time, and instead we could be doing more beneficial activities. Many students have been working after school due to their need for money for higher education, a vehicle, and even some to move out as soon as they can for their own personal reasons. There are most definitely students who choose to not attend school and are not accountable for their work,
But for the students who stay on top of their work, I propose the idea of allowing more alternate learning opportunities in place of seat time. Yes, it is still extremely important to attend school, but it is also important to use our time wisely in and outside of the school building. What do students want done? As I previously mentioned, we want alternate options to make up for our seat time. In the current 40-20 policy for our school division, it states that students exceed their absence limitations must complete tutoring or an alternate learning module. In my high school, Thomas Dale, we do have the opportunity to receive tutoring during this time, but myself and other students I questioned were completely unaware of any alternative learning options we have outside of our standard tutoring or sitting in a classroom. This should promote change within the amount of opportunities students have to complete seat time, and even better, in and outside of school. Our main concern is about the current status of our typical seat time expectations, is that seat time is not as beneficial as it could be because we are typically sitting in classrooms doing practically nothing, because speaking as one of these said accountable students, we do not often have missing work. It would be more beneficial for students to have a job or have more in-school opportunities that are more work-based, such as being a teacher assistant, helping counselors, helping the office staff, etc. Furthermore, the journal Technological Horizons in Education advocates for the idea of using time on task in place of seat time. Time on task is the total amount of time the student takes to complete their assignments. With the timers on practically all of our Canvas assignments, this would not be very difficult to organize. This would encourage unaccountable and accountable students to complete their work at home, as well as take the time to understand the assignment. Finally, to go along with my time for task proposal, I think it would be beneficial for teachers to have a personal limit on the amount of seat time they will enter for certain assignments to prevent students from keeping their assignments open for extended periods of time just for seat time purposes. In conclusion, it is the duty of students to be accountable for their work, but students should still use their in and outside of school time beneficially, and we believe that allowing for different opportunities to complete their seat time would be beneficial for themselves, their grades, the school faculty, graduation rates, and overall the entire school division as a whole. Thank you for this time. Thank you for your time on this most important matter. We look forward to hearing back from you on our policy number 4020.
Clay Thomas.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Clay Thomas, and I'm a resident and student of the Bermuda District. I come before you this evening to address research that me and my policy affinity partner conducted on policy 4140, otherwise known as corporal punishment. My affinity partner and I interviewed just shy of 100 students in the matter of school fights and faculty involvement. We did this because when we read through the corporal punishment policy, there's a level of vagueness when considering the level of involvement of teachers and faculty when dissipating and handling. Out of our 78 responses, only one person reported being hurt by a teacher. However, 33 people reported seeing a fellow student get hurt by a faculty member, in addition to 26 people reporting to seeing a faculty member lay hands and touch on a student. The only thing that me and my policy affinity partner ask is that there's a more careful consideration in the implementation of dispersions of school fights, whether that be through a stricter guideline on what teachers are allowed to do, or an actual step-by-step manual on how to affect and change the effects of a fight. What this will accomplish is students will no longer be hurt by a teacher because the chances of a student being hurt by a teacher will drastically decrease due to teachers now knowing what to do, as well as there will be less students hurt in the actual fight themselves, because now teachers who may feel shy, because not every teacher is a gym teacher who's able to jump in and feel confident in their abilities to stop a fight. There might be a music teacher that is not as well built or struggles in the same type of situation, and they would not stand a chance against a school football player. However, having an actual guideline or maybe even training
on what they can do in order to stop a fight can lead to less students being hurt in whatever rampage is occurring in the halls due to them being more confident in their abilities to step in and change the effects of the fight. So in conclusion, all I ask is that y'all have a more careful consideration on what y'all can do to help aid the teachers in having a stricter guideline on policy 4140. Thank you for bearing witness to my final act as a high school student or a student of Chesterfield County as I am graduating, and this is the last thing I'm doing before my graduation is next Monday. So thank you for your time and your careful consideration for my policy. Have a great rest of your evening.
Camille Curry.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Camille Curry, and I'm a resident and student of the Bermuda District. I come before you this evening to address concerns and research conducted by my policy affinity group regarding policy number 4185, which is college and career readiness. My affinity partner and I decided to approach this topic due to the lack of enforcement the policy has on most students. So we gathered data from multiple sources, including survey questions from the students of Thomasdale High School. And we discovered that 95.7% of the students that we surveyed don't even know what CCCRI is. And that 52% of the students that aren't aware of the college and career readiness programs that our school provides. This means that most students aren't using this opportunity to find or pursue the future career that they want, and leaving most students not prepared for college. College and career readiness is exactly as it sounds, preparing students for college and careers they want. But that's not all that these program does for these students. It changes the minds of teenagers into young adults by teaching them skills that will help them handle the freedom and responsibilities for their careers in life and in college. Programs like the CTE, for example, give students post-secondary education so students can find better job opportunities that can provide them suitable wages, which is extremely necessary to thrive in our economy. Most classes on the student schedule are mainly to gain the credits they need to graduate, which is necessary, but not as important as it is to teach a student about the career they want and to pursue and to learn more about so that it can open multiple doors into their future. The CTE program is a prime example of what college and career readiness is and should be more enforced into a student's daily schedule. But understandably, the way the student schedule is made is with the motive to give a student what they need to graduate and to give classes that may relate to their goals. So may I suggest an idea? In order to get into the CTE program, a student will have to apply in their sophomore year. So why not just introduce students to a career program in their middle school and freshman year so they can gain a better grasp on what they'll need out of a program? Introduce students to a program that will provide tools and planning for their career and will help skip that undecided major phase and get a head start in college, leaving the students with a path and opportunity that they can exploit. And for the students who aren't too sure about their future, can be given a general recommendation to programs and counseling that will help them find a career in college that help build towards their goal. This policy can be more efficient by advertising the college and career programs the high school provides, so students can be more informed in their last years of middle school and the beginning of their freshman year before they can even apply to programs or college. This gives students a general idea of a plan towards the future, and it'll make them more efficient in the work environment. Making programs like CTE more common in a student schedule can change the education experience in a positive way and create leaders in every field that can change the world for the better. Thank you for your time and attention for this most important matter. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on our recommendations regarding policy 85. Thank you.
Moses Palacios Vaverka.
Gotcha. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Moses Palacios Vaverka. I am from the Media District. I am part of a policy affinity group researching policy 5120, substitute teachers. Today, I stand before you to advocate and elevate the current qualifications of substitute teachers. It's time we address it with the urgency that it deserves. First, students deserve a consistent and quality instructions regardless of who stands at the front of the classroom. Yet some substitute teachers lack the necessary training and expertise to effectively engage and educate students. Almost every time a day with a sub means completing missing work or just following instructions left behind by our teachers, which often falls on deaf ears. Because of this knowledge gap between qualified teachers and unqualified teachers, and it hampers the learning experience, and it can also hinder our academic progress and development. By upping the qualifications for substitute teachers, we are investing in the future of every student. Moreover, enhancing the qualifications of substitute teachers benefits not only the student, but the school as a whole. It will foster a culture of professionalism and expertise, attracting the best and brightest individuals to fill those vital roles. A well-prepared substitute should not only be a placeholder, but also a catalyst for learning and be capable of inspiring students and maintaining the momentum left behind by the absent teacher. The best solution to elevate the substitute teacher's qualifications is to establish a comprehensive and specialized training program specifically tailored for substitute teachers. These programs should cover a wide range of essential topics that a teacher of any kind should know, like classroom management. By doing so, they can enter the classroom better prepared to meet the challenges of teaching in any kind of setting they find themselves in. To help emphasize my points from before, my policy affinity partner and I run around our school asking students and teachers alike about whether or not substitute teachers should be more qualified or not. The majority of students we surveyed shared that subs should be more qualified, and interestingly, the teachers we surveyed shared that subs don't need to be more qualified. It is evident that there is a disparity of opinions exists between teachers and students regarding this matter, but it is important to understand students' firsthand experience while inside the classroom with the substitute teacher as compared to the teacher who was not there. To further support this, the National Education Association states that every state should have policies in place on the employment of substitute teachers. States should give priority to those holding a teaching credential, although all substitutes should be required to hold a bachelor's degree. In conclusion, by elevating substitute teachers' qualifications, we affirm our commitment to excellence in education and demonstrate our dedication to the success and well-being of future student generations. The time to act is now. Thank you for your time and attention on this most important matter. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on our recommendations regarding policy 5120. Have a blessed night.
Sonia Smith.
It's been a long time. Readers. All right, good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Sonia Smith, and I'm the past president of the Chesterfield Education Association and currently serving as an employee of the Chesterfield County Public School Division in the Bermuda District. I come before you today with a message of hope. Prior to me standing here, you heard from several of my public speaking students, one who still needs to speak, who have successfully completed their final exam for my course.
They have been conducting research since December on policies that this body governs, reviews, and revises over time. They really do wish to hear back from you. They toiled over researching a strong threshold of survey respondents in order to have sufficient data to analyze in an effort to present to you this evening quality results with suggestions for the future of CCPS policies. Excited, anxious, and nervous, they persevered. A few of these students could not be in attendance due to spring sport obligations, but their written remarks are here this evening for each of you to review. Get back with them as they look forward to hearing from you too. These students have observed from afar what it takes to be heard, and tonight they express themselves in their most poised, polished, and professional way possible. Proper decorum was taught, and they all understood the assignment. Looking ahead, we are about to welcome a new crop of CCPS high school graduates. The class of 2024 will grace the stages at the Virginia State University Multipurpose Center and Virginia Commonwealth University Siegel Center in just a few short days. Also serving as a senior class sponsor at Thomasdale High School, it has been an honor and a privilege to introduce to this senior class what I have coined Volunteer Tuesdays. On these pre-approved Tuesdays throughout the 2023-2024 school year, vetted 12th grade students visited Curtis, Ecoff, C.C. Wells, Enon, Hopkins, Harrogate, Marguerite Christian, and CECLA. Averaging roughly 45 volunteers for each trip, seniors assisted with lesson plans, engaged in small group reading, math activities, participated in recess, and even served lunch duty, y'all. Removing the transportation barrier and allowing students to give back to their school community during school hours was a blessing in disguise. Several indicated their love for working with young scholars and are looking to actually major in education. In this first year of implementation, my seniors amassed a total of 450 volunteer hours. How can we encourage other high schools to adopt the same practice with their future senior classes? Guiding students to embrace and appreciate service to others is a labor of love. This brings me to my final point. Dr. Doherty, from the first day on the job here in Chesterfield, you have embodied the definition of servant leadership. I appreciated all of our monthly meetings, you allowing CEA to be an integral part of safely reopening schools and encouraging your past leadership to take steps to lead other school divisions across the state. Thank you, sir, for your time here in Chesterfield. May you and your lovely family continue to be blessed moving forward. Thank you for your service. See you at graduation. Thank you for your time. Good evening.
Melena Wood.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Doherty, and members of the board. My name is Melena Wood, and I am a resident and student in the Bermuda District. I stand before you this evening as a member of a policy affinity group that has conducted research on Policy 3013, Family Life Education. Family life plays an important role in a child's development, as the Hanley Foundation states that it is crucial to guide you down the path of morality when it comes to outside influences such as dealing with drugs, alcohol, peer pressure, bullying, or sexual encounters. The Family Life Education Program has elements that need to be revised, specifically the opt-out option. My partner and I believe that there should not be an opt-out option, as it limits a portion of children from receiving the education on topics they need. Opt-out causes ignorance, which can lead to pregnancies and the spread of AIDS and HIV. All students should be required to take Family Life, as it protects them from being uneducated. Religious reasons for removing your children from the program should not be accepted, as no religion condemns children from learning about the functions of their body. We want to see a change in students being able to have access
towards resources that can help them transition into adulthood, children have genuine questions, and to rob them of their right to receive education is a disservice to them and society. We collected 250 responses from students at Thomasdale High School and Matoka High School, where students voiced their opinions on Policy 3013. Students from various grades expressed their faults that the program has. One student stated that the family life helps with teaching students about real-life situations and issues that may happen based on their choices. I think family life equips me for life more than popular electives like art. This statement shows how important family life is to its students. Another student stated that it was too anatomical, maybe should have taught better sexual habits. Some people believe it was too repetitive. As one student explained, it is very repetitive and they should talk more about how it can affect you, not only physically, but mentally. 72% of students believe that family life was important, and the majority of students from the survey believe that the opt-out option should be removed. Children are very curious individuals when they don't have access to gain formal instruction from an expert that they will find another way to gain access. Some resort to learning on the internet, which can be very harmful as it exposes their mind to unfiltered content. Thank you for your time and attention to policy number 3013. We look forward to hearing back from you soon on any updates or implementations you may have. Again, thank you.
Robert Eberth.
Good evening, all. I picked a good night to pick last night. I almost thought, well, I've got 17 speakers ahead of me. I'm going to be here for a while, but I'm thankful I got to hear all the students speak. I actually took notes of what they were saying and looking into these policies, and I hope you guys actually do follow up with all these students out here as they put this time and effort to actually look through the board docs. Some of which I can get parents to do sometimes. So that's a good thing. So I don't have all these notes that are all fancy like theirs, but if I took this exam, hopefully, most likely I'd fail it, but I'm going to try my best tonight. So we're going to talk about the flag display policy that I've been advocating for. There's a poll floating now on Facebook from an elected official, which I'll leave them unnamed at this point. And the question is, should Chesterfield County Public Schools have a policy that only allows for the American flag, the Virginia state flag, the U.S. military, school identifying flags, banners to be displayed in schools' grounds? Well, you'd be surprised at the numbers of this poll, not my poll. 92% said yes. 29 people said no. Out of 370 people, 380 people said 29 of them said no. I think there's something to be seen here as a good public opinion example for this poll. Maybe we probably do need to look into this flag display policy. If it's not exactly the way I've written it, I'm sure your attorneys would vet it and actually go through it, make sure it's not offending any constitutional law or anything like that. But I think it's very bipartisan because as I shown last time at the last school board, I actually brought the family pride flag and the straight pride flag, something I do not want in the schools, but I just proved a point that those are allowed in the schools. You can't take them out. So you don't want those in there. So I think we need to kind of look at that because, you're setting the stage, or not you guys personally, but in the future, that's setting the stage. So let's move on. I'm not going to read the flag display policy again, but I will submit it into the minutes. So let's move on to that, and let's get something done on that. Let's work on that together. Policy 3031, I heard that spoke a lot tonight, which was great. I would like it's sort of like a dress code for teachers, which is very vague. It says that, must dress in a professional manner. But I'd like to go further and include, or even just put this into the flag display policy as a flag display banner or whatever they put on their desk. So basically what this is going to do is going to say, do not expose to students to display of controversial messages, personal biases, personal beliefs, controversial symbols, or personal clothing, personal apparel, personal belongings, including but not limited to items such as coffee mugs, purses, briefcases, cell phone cases, and mouse pads. Now, students under 3031 can opt out, but they can't opt out of this because it exposes them to controversial materials in an educational environment. So the students are actually forced
to be witness to that, even if it's against either their religion or if against their idealisms or their parents' idealisms. So I would say either do a add-on to 3031 to include that, or include it into flag display policy banner, somehow work it in there. I think that was a possibility. Another thing too is I go to speak at other school boards, and what I do like is I do sign up, but when I don't sign up, guess what? They ask if there's any other speakers out there who would like to speak. I get why you guys do that. You want to kind of run an organized thing. You don't want a bunch of people coming out of nowhere and just start speaking. I get everybody wants to go home. I would say open up the floor for, anybody else that wants to speak that's not signed up. Some people either can't, they don't have computers, or whatnot. So I would say that. A library procurement process. We were supposed to look into that. I think the staff was. We need to keep some of these sexually explicit books out of our libraries completely. And so we need to look at the procurement process, try to figure out how we can weed that out, how to keep those books from those schools. And there's a rating system that I presented last year, which I'll present again some other time in an email. So I just want to say thank you, Robert Eberth of Virginia Showing First. Have a great night.
Madam Chair, that concludes this evening's public comment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm going to take a point of privilege, if I may. Thank you to all the speakers who came tonight. I would especially like to thank Ms. Smith and your Thomasdale Policy Affinity Group. It is no easy task, as even the grown-ups who spoke tonight could tell you. We admire you, we appreciate you, and thank you for your input. We have certainly taken notes, and I can assure you that members of this board will be responding to your specific inquiries. So thank you. Next this evening, we have the superintendent's report. Dr. Dougherty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight we have 3 presentations. First presentation from Sean Smith on the Crestwood Elementary School Embracing series reading.
Board members, Dr. Dougherty, as we continue to showcase the work of the school division, the phenomenal work by our instructional team, tonight's video explores Crestwood Elementary's approach to independent reading.
We're working on our reading here.
We are, we're reading. I'm following along.
We wanted to try something a little bit different tonight, so we appreciate honor of literacy. So thank you.
I was hoping you were going to provide the upbeat music, no? Oh. Thank you, Mr. Smith. That was, I hope that folks at home were able to follow along. It wasn't just a pause in the meeting, but it was a lovely production. Board members, any discussion? Thank you.
Madam Chair, our next presentation this evening is a presentation on the office move and the CTE changes for 2025-26 with Mr. Davis.
Good evening. Testing, 1, 2, 3. My haircut was last week. I'm ready to go. So good evening, Ms. Heffron, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Doherty. Just a few moments to bring you up to speed on an action that we've been working, a couple of really important projects for the last year or so that are making great progress, and want to bring you up to speed on what we're going to accomplish and the schedule for getting them done. The new central office building for CCPS will be located at the development called Springline at District 60, which is a multi-purpose area that's going to include retail, residential, office buildings. I've even heard about an ice hockey rink. Not quite sure if that's still in play or not, but the building that will hold the CCPS headquarters will be one of the first projects that's constructed at that area. If you look at the map, you can see it's in the upper northeast portion of the county, located at the intersection of Midlothian Turnpike and Chippenham Parkway. Looking at that map, you see some smaller rectangles in the lower right-hand corner. The building that we're going to occupy is the one that is in the vertical axis. This is a depiction from the architect of what the building will look like when it's complete. This is looking at it from the northwest. The building will be owned by Timmons, which is a company that we work with quite a bit, the Timmons Group, civil engineers. And it'll include CCPS and the Chesterfield Economic Development Agency that will occupy about half of it, and the county, being a tenant, will rent that space. But we've been very active in regards to designing the spaces so that it'll be our great new home. It's well underway. Here's some recent construction pictures. So you can see a lot of progress has been made. It's obviously not complete. Driving by it, I see some of the windows are now in place that you see that are wide open there on that left hand. So they're continuing to move forward, and we're very excited about following that progress. Here's the schedule. We've been under construction for quite a bit of 2024, and it started almost a year ago. You see some other activities in regards to transition, but I'll bring your attention to the bottom of the chart where it shows that we will be in that office and working, hopefully, in February of 2025. Horgan is the construction company. They've got a great reputation. They've brought many projects home and completed them here in the Richmond area, so we're confident that they're going to complete this job, and we're going to look forward to moving there and bringing together members of the central office that have been spread at either 9900 Krause Road or the CTC at Hull Street Technical Center, which leads me to the second portion of the presentation. It's very exciting what's going to happen at CTC at Hull. Once all the central office folks move out, it's going to turn back into a world-class education facility that adds another 40,000 square feet to the education mission. I'm not going to recite all these different programs that Chad Macklin is preparing to add to the menu, you might say, of our CTE programs. Many new programs will be offered to attract many more students to the CTE program that we have here in Chesterfield County, and we're going to really look forward to bringing that to fruition. After we move out in early 2025, we being the CCPS employees, the programming that Chad and his team have been doing diligently in recent months and years will turn into actual design and renovation, first day of classes in August of 2026. So that'll be just about 16 months from when the central office staff departs to when students are going to expand their footprint in the building. And we're really looking forward to both of these very important projects being completed.
So I'd be happy to take any questions if you have any at this time.
Board members, any questions, discussion? We're very excited. Mr. Dickens, very excited.
Madam Chair, the next presentation this evening is an update from Mr. Meister on the FY25 budget.
Thank you, Dr. Doherty, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, other members of the board. I just wanted to come here and provide a little bit of an update on what you've probably seen in the news and some of the, what I think is good news ultimately. The state budget, we actually have one. Yay. The General Assembly, the House of Delegates and the State Senate voted to approve their budget on May 13th. That was yesterday. The governor quickly signed on as well. So we have a budget come July 1st to operate. The other key things that are included in here is that it seems most of the General Assembly spending priorities were included in this budget. That's the good news. From our particular funding perspective, the digital sales tax was not included. That does take some money away. Net, this is still going to be a good thing for the division, will allow us some funds to actually explore some of those unfunded priorities that we left on the table during our budget process that we're still awaiting. The disappointing thing on this page, though, is we are still in a little bit of a waiting game as we are dependent on the calc tool. The VDOE puts this out hopefully shortly, but there's no guarantee after the budget is completed that will allow us to understand what CCPS's funding impact of this budget will be. So looking at this from a timeline, there's a lot of lines and dots and slashes on this page. Let me just walk you through it super quickly. Where we're at today with the budget, if you recall, you folks have approved a budget on February 22nd. The Board of Supervisors adopted their budget. So we're in a period where first and foremost, we ultimately need to adopt the Board of Supervisors budget. I've been reluctant to bring that back to you without clarity and visibility on what's going on with the state. So not to create any confusion, I'd love to bring the Board of Supervisors budget back to you and any amendments related to the state budget back to you at the same time to create a consistent and cohesive story for both you and the public. So those two things reflected on this chart as X's and stars. If everything worked out perfectly, I would have been doing that today. Things don't work out perfectly, so option A didn't play out. If they happened just a little bit delayed, I very easily could have come to you with an adopted budget with a list of amendments potentially crafted as the superintendent's proposed to allow the board to debate, and we'd come back in June and we would finalize our amendments and get that amendments adopted, and then the Board of Supervisors approve those. We're not in that state either as we stand here today, which leaves us in this final scenario, which is C. Obviously, I'll provide this update today. I'll give you a little bit of color. I hope to have a calc tool soon. You can see here my line runs out through about end of May. That's when I would hope, although I have heard rumors that the state for the calc tool may take into June to come out with it, which would be obviously very disappointing for us and not knowing what that would be. But we'll cross our fingers and hope that the VDOE can get that done over the next couple weeks. And what that would allow us to do is come back to this board on June 4th with a summary of that proposal. The board could debate those, take a look at the priorities that weren't included, and then come back likely in a special meeting. You'll see a 6/17 date posed here. That's obviously subject to debate, subject to scheduling, et cetera, but we've got that out here right now as a placeholder as the point in time where I would hopefully come back to this board with both that adoption of the Board of Supervisors budget and the approval of the amendments so that we can get that complete before both July 1 when we need it for the fiscal year, but as well as before the June 26th Board of Supervisors meeting, where they would of course need to approve whatever amendments we put forward. So long way of saying we're still in the middle of the process, but we have made a pretty substantial step forward with the signing of the budget by both the General Assembly and the governor yesterday. So a couple of slides just to remind the board and remind the public, first and foremost, what was included in your budget. These items are fully funded and staff is working diligently to put them into action as we speak, as we start July 1.
You see several technical adjustments. The big one on the first column is that 4% compensation increase that's included in contracts that are going out as soon as this week. Other required increases, you can see them there. Custodial increases, reading specialists, which are a budget item. They were in the governor's original proposal. They were in the original General Assembly proposals back and forth. They've continued. They are included in the final proposal that or final budget. I can say that now. The final budget that we saw yesterday, support for middle school, and some of these other maintaining service levels, the focus facilitators, bilingual liaisons, et cetera, are all included in your budget. You don't need to go back and relitigate those. Those are in process. The items that we've talked about previously that were not funded, you notice bonuses, high needs, and IA. This was the original proposal to maintain the existing bonus levels. I will reiterate the asterisks there, knowing that there was school board conversation, especially on those high needs bonuses, whether is it enough and is it at enough schools? So we'll keep those asterisks on there, and I'm sure that will be a meaningful part of the debate that the school board will have once we have those final numbers. And you see the long list of other needs. I won't read through all of those, but everything from annual subs to targeted compensation increases to various investments in our building and infrastructure are all reflected in that list. This list is what was approved on February 22nd. Should there be other priorities from the superintendent or the board, we'll certainly have an opportunity to debate those as well. But as we sit here today, the February 22nd list still is the unfunded list. So just to reiterate one more time, the timing, we're obviously here, May 14th, providing awareness to the conclusion of the budget. Seems to be a lot of good news in there, but we need to wait and see what that calc tool says. On that June 4th school board meeting, we really hope that we have that calc tool by then, and even if we don't, we'll make some pretty good estimates, and I want to make sure we keep that meeting as an opportunity to allow the board to discuss those budget priorities and come to enable us to come to the table, presumably on June 17th, subject to debate or scheduling, et cetera, for ultimately adoption and approval of those amendments so we can start July 1 with a Board of Supervisors approval behind us as well. So take a breath. We're almost to the end. The sprint is still in front of us, but I'm excited to be able to share that little bit of good news from the General Assembly and the Governor's office as of yesterday. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Meister. Board members, any questions or discussion? We're all just so happy that we have an answer. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dougherty, for your superintendent's report this evening. Next, we have the discussion agenda with Dr. Pope.
Thank you, Elke. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members, and Dr. Dougherty. Very quickly this evening, I am here just to be sure that our public is very aware that in the work session, we went rather extensively over a proposed 2025-26 calendar. Sometimes people don't tune into both, so we just wanted to say it one more time so that everyone is aware. There is a draft calendar out there. We welcome public comment. This is the student-parent version of the calendar, and just to draw attention that this is a Monday through Sunday printed layout. Again, the dates that we feel our parents would most want to know at this point: first day of school, last day of school, major breaks. And of course, a reminder that all of the groups that you see listed here have given feedback. We're now down to that last bullet where our community members are certainly welcome to send a note to that email address, giving us additional feedback, and then we'll see what we gather and we'll come back to you in June. Any discussion matters or questions? Again, this was pretty much just for the awareness factor with our public.
Thank you, Dr. Pope. Board members, any discussion, any questions? No? Thank you so much.
All right,
and
thank
we
you.
Definitely encourage folks to provide their feedback and to look into those documents that we have online. Next, we have memo number 7124 with Mr. Smith.
Board members, Dr. Dougherty, you have before you two separate policy packets. The first one is policy 071-24. Staff recommends revisions to current policies and regulations as follows. Reviewed with no changes, policy 1170, agent and deputy agent. Reviewed with no changes to policy 1230, school board staff communications. Reviewed with no changes to policy 2023, severance benefits. Revisions to policy 2159, revised, school year, school day. Revisions to policy 2160, revised, emergency closings. Reviewed with no changes to policy 4137, student athlete sudden cardiac arrest. Revisions to policy 4150, revised, physical restraint and seclusion of students. Revisions to policy 4160, revised, drug-free schools. Revisions to policy 5081, revised, lactation support. Reviewed no changes to policy 7070, bonding of employees. Reviewed no changes to policy 7090, petty cash funds. Reviewed no changes to policy 7130, financial grants. Proposed changes have been reviewed by the school board attorney. Second reading and final school board adoption for the above name is scheduled for the next regular school board meeting. If approved, revisions to current policies and regulations would become effective immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board members, any discussion? Thank you. And Mr. Smith, you're up with memo 7224.
Staff recommends revisions to current policy and regulations as follows. Reviewed no changes to policy 5010, philosophy. Reviewed no changes to policy 5020, observance of policies and regulations. Reviewed no changes to policy 5030, professional ethics. Reviewed no changes to policy 5050, Title IX, education amendments of 1972. Revisions to policy 5070, revised, employee selection. Revisions to policy 5100, revised, reassignment and transferred. Reviewed with no changes to policy 5130, tutoring and other activities. And reviewed with no changes to policy 5160, promotion. Proposed changes have been reviewed by the school board attorney. Second reading and final school board adoption is scheduled for the next regular school board meeting. If approved at that time, revisions to current policy and regulations would become effective immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board members, do you have any discussion in regards to the memo? Okay, thank you. That's it. And next we have items for board review. Madam Clerk, would you please read the items for this evening?
Madam Chair, tonight's agenda includes the following items for board review. Number 1, Magisterial District Improvement Funds, FY 2024. Number 2, FY 2024 March expenditures versus appropriations. Number 3, budget change request summary across categories, March 2024. Number 4, board committee reports. Number 5, pre-K update, March 2024. Number 6, memo number 073-24, VBOE Division Literacy Plan Template. Number 7, memo number 074-24, additional technical edits to the 2024-2025 Program of Studies.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have this evening's superintendent's remarks. Dr. Dougherty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just it's hard to believe, but starting on this Monday, we start graduations. We're excited about that opportunity. Between 4,800 and 5,000 students. I've already, just so you know, I've already warned the board to start squeezing the tennis ball to get ready for the handshakes. But we're excited about that opportunity, and not that anybody's counting, but as of tomorrow, there's 12 days of school.
Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you, Dr. Dougherty. Next, we have announcements, communications, and school board comments. School board members, any announcements or comments from the board?
I just want to make an announcement. I was at the CTE Advisory Committee meeting this morning, and kind of piggybacking off of our number of seniors that we have graduating, 4,800 to 5,000. Well, of those, 2,000 of our seniors took high-intensity externships, internships, and some good career development courses. So I just want to, that's almost half of our seniors have had that exposure. So I think that's just something to say to the public so they understand and know the importance of our CTE program and career and college readiness. So.
Well said. Anyone else have any comments or announcements? All right, here's to a smooth week next week. I just said it out loud. I'll say it. I'm not afraid. The school board, if there's no announcements, the school board will hold a work session on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 at 4 p.m. right here in the public meeting room. It'll be followed by a business meeting at 6:30 p.m. If there's no further business, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Paranto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. The May 14th, 2024 school board business meeting is adjourned.